Well, Matoma Chilwane there, the MEC for Education in Gauteng, at that funeral service in Carletonville for the 11 little children who lost their lives in that horrific smash. Well, Xolani Fakude is the head of secretariat at the South African Democratic Teachers Union. Xolani, a good afternoon to you. We see, just too many accidents like this, accidents involving young children going to and from school. And it reminds us, actually, of how big our country is and how difficult it is to transport children to school, there and back, every day.
Yeah, absolutely, Stephen. Firstly, let me greet you. Let me greet the viewers of Newsroom as well. It is indeed a sad occasion. It's a tragic accident that happened. It's something that we did not foresee coming, and no one could have really. And we want to pass our sincerest condolences to the families of the deceased, and we also wish those who are injured a speedy recovery. Yes, indeed, Stephen, you are correct. Our country is big. The complications that are linked with transporting learners to and from school are indeed there, and they cannot be ignored. What our view, however, is that we would love to see a situation whereby the Department of Basic Education and the Department of Transport work on a policy, a very firm policy that is sort of is going to work also as a monitoring and evaluation tool, a vetting system for the kind of transport that we have on the roads. We do not want to blame a portion on anyone right now, but we are saying that we want proper investigations behind this. This is a serious matter, and this might just be the tip of the iceberg.
In a way, these are the victims of our apartheid spatial development, right? It's because schools are so far away from communities, and it's very, very difficult to build a school in every single community. Parents want to choose what they see as the best school. And so many millions of children every day are forced into this existence, getting up very early just to get to school on time.
No, you're absolutely correct. And it affects it has got actually immediate, it has got very acute impacts when learners have to wake up even extraordinarily early, sometimes even earlier than their parents, to prepare for school. And yes, this is a legacy of a system that had been entrenched for a very, very long time. But then it is important then, Stephen, that we then have got a transformative kind of a trajectory to our education system, because we can see that there are still challenges. These are socio-economic challenges. That is why we're also calling for the relevant departments, including the Department of Social Development, to avail psychosocial support services to the schools that are affected, the learners, the teachers, the parents, the community of Mirafong that has felt the tragic loss of 11 young lives. So we are saying that so long as we can have a very consultative, collaborative approach to how we see the education system, so long as we can have everyone playing their decisive part in making sure that our schools, our schooling communities are safer, then we can start making it to make the relevant progress, Stephen.
What happens now, and the way we get around all of this, is that you have scholar transporters, like we saw here, people who are paid by the provincial education departments to take children to and from school. They have their own associations, they have their own arrangements, they have their own vehicles in many, many cases. And the system, as we see, sometimes you have drivers who take great care of their children, very, very careful. But it's still dangerous. Are our education departments paying them on time, making sure that the cars that are being used are safe, making sure that the drivers have the right qualifications?
Well, one would not accurately say that respond as in yes or no directly to your question. However, what we know, Stephen, is that what is important is that we should have the necessary vetting system. That is why I said earlier that it is important for us as a union to see the Department of Basic Education working with the relevant department. In this case, we identify categorically the Department of Transport to set up a proper policy, proper systems that could be in place to make sure that at least we've got both sides being satisfied. When I say both sides being satisfied, I mean being the learners that are being transported in this case, and of course being the drivers themselves. And we are calling for a collaborative approach, Stephen. We are saying that there should be a way in which we can work much better between the relevant departments and the associations themselves to see that at least we've got proper vetting systems, we've got proper monitoring systems to make sure that our learners are safer as they move to and from school.
It seems to me that this is not going to change in the longer term, Xolani, and I hate to say that, but I don't think it will. Does that mean we need to think quite cleverly about how we resolve this? Maybe, I don't know what other suggestions there are. I mean, we would all like, and we all want our children to go literally next door to school, and that's never going to happen.
Well, definitely not in the immediate, Stephen. These are some of the longer-term goals that we need to set for ourselves up. But then how then do we manage that? It also has to do with how we place learners, how the department places the learners, considering, of course, all the factors that the learners will be able to be in school on time and safe for us to be able to teach them. So yes, there isn't going to be a one-size-fits-all, or rather a silver bullet that can in the immediate resolve some of these issues that we are facing. However, with the collaboration in the immediate, with us talking consistently among stakeholders, let us not wait for another incident like this, for another tragic incident like this, to start talking. Let us talk consistently, but then let us put the safety of the learners at the fore of how we see the entire system. Let us put the safety as well of the teachers, and then let's just have a whole paradigm shift about how we see education, about how we see the various multi-stakeholders interacting amongst each other to make sure that our learners can be safer, Stephen.
Xolani Fakude, really appreciate the time. Thank you. Head of the Secretariat at the South African Democratic Teachers Union.